Hello again, everyone. Keta Kosman, publisher of Madison's Lumber Reporter, coming to you once again from Vancouver, British Columbia, here in the early weeks of May to give you another update of what is going on with U.S. housing, construction, home sales, house prices, and putting that together with my lumber prices. The data that we do here at Madison's comes out every Friday. We gather the information using a market survey. I have an analyst who calls around to the various sawmills and wholesalers all across North America for the different regions and species for the different products. And we compile all that data, put it together on Thursdays, and it becomes available for subscribers on Friday mornings. They log into my dashboard and see the 500 individual softwood lumber and panel prices every week, right there at their fingertips. And that includes the market commentary explaining why the prices have changed, the situation with the sawmills, what's going on with inventory, log supply, issues with transportation that have been ongoing since the end of last year. And so I'm talking today about data that just came out for March for new home sales. And the actual home sales are down a little bit compared to February, down a little bit compared to 1 year ago, but the house prices have still been going up. So right now, let's look at the graphs, and I'll show you the data just released, and I'll put that against my lumber price data and explain a little bit about what is going on with those industries. And so here we have U.S. new home sales. The black line is new homes sold, and the three colored lines are the standard dimension lumber prices that I talk about. The purple line is the Western Spruce-Pine-Fir. So you can see the correlation there, definitely into first quarter of 2020 when things really started to go wild. The home sales is following quite closely to the lumber price trend. And as I say, the lumber prices come out once a week for that week, and the home sales comes out once a month for the previous month. So this is March, which came out in April, and homes for sale was down 8.6% from February and was down 12.6% from 2021 March. And so there's some cooling off there, but still higher than it was in 2019. Here we have those benchmark lumber prices that I talk about. The top three lines are the same items that were in that graph you just saw. And then the fourth line is studs. Can't build a house without studs. Douglas fir green 2x4s, very popular with architects and builders on the U.S. Eastern Seaboard and for higher end homes in Texas and California. And then plywood. Also can't build a house without some kind of panel, whether it's plywood or OSB. So here we have the week ending April 29th price compared to the previous week and the change, and then the month ago and that change. So prices did peak and then came back down by quite a bit, which is why I say while there's still volatility compared to, you know, the 10 years when prices were depressed, it's not as much up and down as it was the past couple of years. Here we have the median price of a new home. While the three lumber prices the same as was on the first graph, they're going up and down quite a bit since first quarter 2020 until the end of last year, or even the beginning of this year. The home prices just keep seeming to tick up. So that in March was up 3.7% to 436,700 compared to February, and is up 21.4% compared to March of 2021 when it was $359,600 for the median price of a new home. It's important to note that only 14% of homes sold in March were below $300,000 when 1 year ago it was 34%. And here we have that Western Spruce 2x4 price. I call it the benchmark because it's sold in the highest volume, but given the way things have changed due to the lack of timber, the drop in timber supply here in British Columbia, I saw recently that Southern Yellow Pine 2x4s are starting to take over in volume, so we'll have to see. But for now, that pink line is 2019. You can see it looks quite flat. 2020, the yellow line in third quarter shocked everyone by reaching almost $1,000 per 1,000 board feet. Look very closely at that yellow line ending very similar to the trend of the blue line, which is last year, 2021. Then the purple line is this year. And again, a similarity with the blue line in 2021, but not as high. And then the drop, again, similar to what happened in the middle of 2021, but not as low. So this new price that we're at, which is just above $1,000 per 1,000 board feet, potentially could start to indicate where the level of sort of normal is going to be for lumber prices and what the range will be during the seasonal change. Okay, and so you can see that we're in a little bit of a situation of flux where things are going more strongly than they were, let's say, 3 years ago, but possibly starting to slow down a little bit from that really strong momentum of the last couple of years. The data, when you put it against each other, it really tells more of a story. If people only look at new housing construction or only look at home sales, by itself, it's not necessarily the full picture. And then now, just in the last month, since this data has come out, increases in mortgage rates, which a lot of people are starting to talk about. And, right now, during the beginning of May, it is having an effect. So definitely stay tuned here to catch the next update as we continue in 2022. The generally speaking expectation by, let's say, the realtors and the builders and people in that side of the industry is that the strong momentum that came on in the past couple of years will continue toward the end of this year, but not so much certainty whether it will carry forward into the beginning of next year, 2023. But the year is still young, and there's been sort of extreme things that have happened to make it very unpredictable, specifically weather events. And so if there are storms which cause a lot of destruction to housing, if there are fires which take out a lot of timber, we had here in British Columbia some terrible flooding in November, unprecedented weather event of called an atmospheric river, which is precipitation that comes down not necessarily more than usual, but usually what happens is it comes as snow. And this year it came as rain and just smashed the hillsides. There was mudslides taking out highways and railways. The rivers crested their banks by a lot, and this infrastructure is built along the rivers. So from underneath the foundation of the highways and the railways, a lot of destruction. And as I explain frequently, Canada is a important supplier of lumber products to the construction market in Canada and the US. And 50% of all Canadian lumber is manufactured in British Columbia. So when you have 6 weeks or 2 months of time where manufactured lumber products can't get shipped, takes a long time for that to work through the supply chain, and it causes a lot of problems. So similarly, if there is destruction to housing in highly populated areas of the US or other issues, all of the projections of what's going to happen with home building, home sales, lumber sales goes out the window. So stay tuned. Click like here if you like this video, and it will get suggested to other people. Click subscribe here on YouTube to be alerted when I make another update. And if you are interested in the deeper full data, to actually subscribe to the newsletter, In my caption is a link. You can fill out a form. We'll send you a sample that will have the list of the 500 lumber and panel commodities that we cover, and it will actually have that week's price. And we'll also send you the market commentary, as I was saying, explaining what's happening and why those prices are changing.